For one way or another, I have recently found myself exposed to the world of soccer. It should be no surprise because the World Cup is going on right now, but I've never been someone that has actually sat down to watch this or cared about it, honestly. I can't even really name you a single player that plays on any team that's actively in the World Cup, except for one after yesterday. But I've recently been exposed to it, and this is coming from someone who's never been a sports guy, who has never really been interested in keeping up with sports or any professional teams of any sort. But I have to say, I am particularly having fun and liking watching the World Cup. Now, yesterday I went to somewhere in Austin where there was a huge gathering of Latinos, specifically Colombians because it was the Colombian game, but there was all sorts of jerseys across Latin America. But I was surrounded by an entire essentially backyard, and when I say backyard, I mean like 16,000 square feet of Colombians, essentially. And every single person was so invested, they were watching the game like life or death. And that was a lot of fun for me to observe that and watch that. Every time there'd be a water break, a hydration break, every time there'd be, when halftime came, every time there'd be any sort of break at all, the music would start back up. There'd be like super famous songs from Colombia. Everyone would just start going wild. It was just a lot of fun to watch people come together and just to support their country, you know what I mean? Not only was it a lot of fun, but I also got to see how seriously that people from all over the world, again, specifically from Colombia, because that's who I was surrounded by, were taking this. And there was one thing that happened yesterday, and the camera zoomed in on the person who had made the play, and the thought just crossed my mind that it's just so much. This whole event, the whole World Cup, is just so much beyond soccer. It's so much beyond just a sports competition. And when I was watching the Colombian-Congo game yesterday, there was one thing that happened where I was like, okay, I get it. I get the hype behind this, and I see why people care about this so much, and I see what makes this so fun. Let me show you the clip, and then I'll explain to you why I thought that. So this is the clip I'm going to show you. I want to just give you some context. So back and forth, first off, the Congo's goalie played phenomenal. Blocked so many goals. Also, there was a lot of goals lost to offsides, but the Congo's goalie played phenomenally. But Congo and Colombia did not score any goals for like the first 70-ish minutes of the game, and there's 90 minutes total. And in the 70-something minute, Colombia finally scored the first goal of the entire game, the first legitimate goal of the entire game. And everybody went insane. We were dancing. I got soaked in so many different people's beers. Like people were just like spinning it around like this. And I got absolutely drenched in just so much beer. I just reeked of beer coming home, and I didn't even drink a single drop of beer, but I reeked of beer. People were just going crazy. I can't explain it to you. I can't even explain the vibe to you. But you can see the game is technically supposed to end after 90 minutes, but they add time for like what was lost to hydration breaks and what was lost to when people fall down and are rolling around on the floor and trying to win their Oscars, you know what I mean? They add back extra time for however much time was lost due to breaks like those. Anyway, Congo is currently on the side of Colombia, and Congo has the soccer ball. And Congo is about to attempt to score a really, what would be a very impressive goal here, and I just want you to watch what happens.
Counterattack potentially the other way for Colombia. Puerta thought it was a handball. Now Mbuku, and what a save from Vargas. Barely got a toe to it. Colombia are livid that they didn't get the call, and a corner for the Leopards.
Right there. The reaction that goalie, Colombia's goalie just made is the part that I want to emphasize.
Shot from distance. Vargas in goal hasn't had to do much the whole night.
You have to understand, Colombia and Congo were going back and forth all night. And there were so many goals lost to offsides. There were so many goals blocked by the goalie from Congo. It was just like everyone was tense. There was a guy that was from Colombia that was standing right next to me, and he said to me in Spanish, he was like, honestly, I'm scared. He was scared. Like he felt fear that things are going to go back in the direction of Congo. Because their defense was pretty dang good, honestly. The soccer ball was on the side of the Congo the entire night, and Colombia only got one goal. The reason why this moment right here stuck out to me was that like these goalies and these players, they're not, like I said, there's very few things that actually happens today on Earth where every country can truly compete against each other and represent not just a team, not just a sport, but their entire country. So when this guy, Vargas, when he blocked the goal and he like you saw him make that crazy dive and he stands up and he looks like this, right? He didn't like him saving that goal was not just him showing how good of a goalie he is. It's not just him blocking a point in the football match. It's him defending his entire country. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking about where I am in Austin, and I'm at one bar. I was at one bar in a backyard of a bar where there was probably 1,000 Colombians, something like that, maybe 500. There are probably 500 Colombians, all gathered around, and they're all going crazy, and they're all watching the game like it's life or death. And I'm just thinking to myself, how many other bars or houses or homes or locations are just filled with people from Colombia, let alone to mention just people in Colombia alone, like living in Colombia right now, but all over the world, how many people are gathered here watching and hoping and praying that their team wins? You know what I mean? And I just felt it. It was a strong feeling. You know what I mean? On the 91st minute of the game, after going back and forth all night, and it's like, you know, what's happening here is just so much beyond a simple game. You know what I mean? What it represents is just so much more than sports and so much more than just a football match. It represents like your entire country, especially because this only happens every 4 years, right? And I don't know, like when that happened, as soon as I saw this happen, I'm like, okay, I get it. I get the hype. I understand why, people are fanatics of not just football, but also the World Cup in general. And so I'm going to go watch the Mexico game tonight. I want to go watch the Mexico game with my American buddy in my Mexico jersey. And then I'm going to watch the U.S. game Thursday. And I got to say, like, I'm quickly becoming a fan, because just recognizing how much it means beyond just sports and how much it means beyond just two teams playing against each other. It's like two countries are representing the best of the best that exists in their country. And it's so much fun to watch, and it's so much fun to feel the emotion. And yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. And I just want to say, I can imagine there's going to be at least one person that makes it this far in the video and thinks, bro, it's not that deep. And to that person, I would say, why are you afraid to think deeply? That would be my answer to that. But I'm having a lot of fun being introduced to the world of soccer and the world of the World Cup. And yeah, so Viva Mexico y Viva los Estados Unidos.